Right guys, welcome back. Brand new video this week. UFC Fight Night 123 in Fresno, California, December the 9th. Obviously we had quite a good week last week on his picks. I'll go through that any second. So as you can see, both our main picks, both our parlay picks, both came in. The Abdul Razak Al Hassan, that was a very controversial stoppage. It shouldn't have been stopped, really. He weren't even out. I think he just dropped to the floor. Referee saw it wrong. Obviously got that one wrong. But yeah, that came in with Torres. 3 units bet, brought back 3.25 units. And then the max 5 unit bet on Cejudo and Dominic Reyes came in with pretty much ease. Only problem I'd say in that was Reyes looked like he took a big shot early on, but then managed to take it to the floor and win comfortably. So 5 units brought back 3.5 on that. The only straight pick we had that night was Jose Aldo, 2.5 units. That didn't manage to come in. Holloway was amazing, that fight. I'll give it to him. Aldo's not on the same level now as that guy. So it looks like Aldo, I don't think he'll ever win a belt ever again now. So it's a new era, that division. But then the prop pick we had, Francis Ngannou, 3 units on him. That brought 2 units back. Fucking devastating KO. What an awesome finish that was. It got classed as a left hook, I think Rogan that said, but it looked like a hook/uppercut to me. But either way, fucking hell, he was out cold. Toes were curled. It was awesome. And I think he will knock out Miocic, when he gets to that level. He's proved now that he can be up there with the big dogs, and he's got brutal power. It'll be an awesome fight, him and Miocic, so I'm looking forward to that one being announced. But yeah, if we move on to the results page here, you can see we have got... all the picks that I had this week were on there. I didn't have any extra parlays or anything this week. So yeah, they were all on there. As you can see, I'm on plus 17.05 units now. I didn't win any bets on that Ultimate Fighter finale, so that did knock me back down a little bit, but back up to 17.05 now. Did get plus 6.28 units on the night. Obviously, it would have been a lot more if didn't bet on Aldo, but what can you do? So yeah, guys, it's looking back to going good again at the minute. Please follow me on Twitter. Get access to all my prop and parlay bets that I have, apart from if I put them on here, of course. And follow my trap bets at betmma.tips/RestonHouseMMA. So let's move on to the picks for tonight. Right, guys, so first bet we're going to have this week is another parlay, believe it or not. They seem to be doing all right, these double parlays I'm having, so continuing on with that. First selection I'm going to have this week is Luke Sanders. It did look pretty good on his last outing against Yuri Alcantara, who was also fighting on this card. He was really dominant in that fight, and it was literally seconds away from getting stopped. I can't believe it probably didn't, in a way. But he had him really badly hurt in, I think it was round 2, and the first as well. I think that was actually the one where that it should have been stopped. Really, the referee gave him so many chances, and Alcantara managed to pull through. But Sanders looks very well rounded. He's got a good ground game, and he's got some awesome power on his feet. I think he's gonna counter Sukumtar pretty well in this fight. And if that, I think his wrestling will come into play if he finds himself in trouble on the feet. So he seems to have good takedowns. So he's got quite a few different ways he could go about this fight, but I do feel he looks really good, and in my opinion should realistically be unbeaten still. But he got caught in that knee bar from Alcantara, who is ridiculous at submissions. So like I said, it probably were a little lesson for Sanders, really, in that aspect, that you can't let off on people in the UFC. But I think he'll come back even better in this fight. And like I said, I feel he'll get a comfortable... I think he might take a decision in this. Unanimous. I think it'll be 30-27. But yeah, I do feel really confident in Luke Sanders in this one. And as we move on to the second part of the parlay, the next fighter I'm going to have is Alex Perez. Could have got him at better odds as well if I'd have bet on it the day before, but didn't have the money in my account, so typical, put money in next day and then obviously odds get smashed. But yeah, I feel I watched him on his UFC the Tuesday Night Contender Series, and I had a bet on him in that, and I thought he looked awesome when I watched tape on him before that. He looked great in that last fight he had. I think his name was Kevin Gray, so he was a really stocky dude, he was meant to be known for really good wrestling, and he dealt with him amazing, looked like he had good takedown defence, obviously looked great on his feet with combinations, and managed to finish him with a Darce. So yeah, I thought he looked really, really good. And the guy he's fighting, Carl's John De Thomas. I mean, you look at his last fight, he fought that Naoki Inoue, I think that's how you say it. But that Inoue looked awesome against him as well. So it's hard to say really where the Thomas is at, but I'm not. He does look like he wears down in fights from what I've seen, and I just think Perez will carry on going, get a unanimous decision out of this, either that or a late finish, maybe TKO. Because like I said, I do feel he's good on his feet, but he has got that submission game. But he couldn't finish De Thomas, and he looked really, really good on the floor also. Took a good decision against De Thomas, and I feel it could be the same again here. I feel Perez will probably get a 30-27 decision. So yeah, that is the double I'm having this week, the double parlay. I've had 4 units on that, 10-11 or -110. And that returns 3.6 units. So pretty good returns again this week. And like I said, there were my 2 biggest leans this card. Was going to do straight picks, but as you can see, it's not worth it sometimes with the odds. So I do like my double parlays at the minute, and luckily enough, they are pulling out the bag. So pretty confident I can pull another one off here. So that's my first bet this weekend. Right then, guys, so my straight pick this week that I'm having is Alejandro Perez. He is an underdog this week, so hopefully we can pull one off finally, as Aldo didn't pay off like I said last week. But I do feel he is a good price, and he is a pretty well-rounded guy. Like I said, obviously he's fighting Yuri Alcantara, awesome at submissions, and obviously he'll probably want to try and avoid the ground at that. And like I said, in my opinion, if he can last the first few minutes in this fight, Alcantara does start really wild, throws a lot of bombs, and I don't think he's stupid enough, Perez, to get caught with any of them. Does like fighting on the outside, keeping his distance, working his leg kicks very well. And he does tend to break fighters down by the second, third round using those kicks. So I'm looking for him to do that again here. I do expect Alcantara to try and pull guard, try and pull off one of these crazy submissions. He always works. But yeah, I mean, Perez, since he won Ultimate Fighter, he's looked pretty good. I mean, he's had a couple of decision wins. The last one against Sukumtar, believe it or not, who was fighting against... A lot of the fighters tonight have actually been easy to watch tape on, because they've all seemed to have fought each other at some point, which is weird. But yeah, I mean, the last fight he had with Sukumtar went to a split decision. I did think Perez might have just edged it a bit, but I understand why it was a split. Sukumtar did drop him a couple of times from those jabs. He kept catching him coming in with the kicks, and the jabs were just rocking him to the floor. Didn't really look like they were damaging him in such a way. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel Perez, especially that he's underdog in this as well. Like I said, I feel this is a fight where it's going to be one of those, he'll use the distance very well. It might be a pretty boring fight if he can make it like that. And that is what he'll probably try and do from the get-go. Stay on outside, use his leg kicks, make the fight really boring, frustrate Alcantara and look to just break him down. And I do feel this is probably going to be another one of those decisions. Like I said, hopefully he'll not get caught in a ridiculous submission by Alcantara. As we know, he can pull them off. He's got a good record, fought a lot of guys. But yeah, like I said, he fought Luke Sanders, and he looked really, really rocked. Like I said, in that first round, I'm surprised it wasn't called over. But like I said, Perez got a couple of finishes on his record, so hopefully he might do the business early on, catch Alcantara with these ridiculous swinging punches that he does, catch him and get an early finish. But I am favouring a smart decision from Perez in this, and like I said, it is a good price. I've had 1.5 units on him at 13-8, and that is plus 162.5. So yeah, like I said, it does return 2 units from that 1.5 as well. So good little profit making one if that underdog manages to come in. But like I said, I do really fancy Alejandro Perez in this. So hopefully the night of Perez keeps on continuing and we bring home a straight pick this week. Right guys, we'll get on to my next 2 bets this week. I am actually going to have 2 separate prop bets. So the first prop bet I'm going to have, it's going to be the Eric Anders versus Marcus Perez fight. I'm actually going to have under 2.5 rounds in this. So yeah, you can get it at the minute on one of the sites I'm looking at. You can get it at 7-10, minus 142.9. And yeah, I'm going to have 2.25 units on. Now, it sounds weird that I'm having that on it, but it actually brings back just over 1.5 units. So, very good odds, to be fair, in that sense, I think. I do feel it's pretty much nailed on, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, it's always one of them minutes sometimes where you bet on thinking, oh yeah, both fighters have loads of finishes on the record, ends up being a weird decision. So that could happen, but I'm pretty confident one or the other will get the finish. Like I said, you look at Eric Anders, for instance, great power on his feet, as he's shown in his last fight against Rafael Natal, his debut in the UFC. Got him out there in under 3 minutes. So yeah, he looks a bit of a beast. You're not really seen it yet, but he has got good takedowns as well. And that's where I think the problem comes the other way, because if he does try and take Perez to the floor, I do feel he will. I mean, he looks like he's got some good submissions, Marcus Perez, and we haven't really seen any. I've not really seen a lot of Anders in trouble off guys from really good submissions yet. So that'll be interesting to see really how he handles that. Like, I think Anders will probably want to keep it on the feet, knowing Perez has got that in his locker. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You never know. Anders might get caught, look to do a panic takedown and then get caught. You look back at one of Anders' fights, I can't remember which one it was, but he did go for a takedown against someone, and someone was really close to stopping him with a guillotine. And now, like I said, you see wrestlers getting caught with that quite a bit sometimes, shooting in really quick or panic takedowns, and they can get caught. So I do feel Marcus Perez it is his debut, obviously, and he's fighting a guy who's proved himself already on his debut as well, Anders, who's got great power. But, I mean, he's a good price, Marcus Perez. I think he's 5-2, plus 250. So good odds really if you want to take a stint on a guy who's unbeaten on his debut, but like I said, I feel it could go one or two ways. Like I said, Anders will get the knockout or Marcus Perez with a submission, but under 2.5 I've had. And like I said, I feel it is a good price. Some people might want to risk a bit more than what I'm putting on, but no, like I said, I'm going to stick with what I've gone with there and look to take a cheeky 1.5 units from this. Right, so last prop bet this week is going to be another under-over bet. It's going to be the fight between Trevin Giles and Antonio Braga Neto. Neto. So yeah, what I'm going to have on this, I'm going to have under 2.5 rounds. You can get plus 100 on this, evens at the minute. Both have great finishes in the locker. And they both have good submission finishes as well. So it's one of them where I think Neto might have the little bit of edge on the floor, although Giles has got quite some quite good submissions in his locker. But I feel judging by that, it could be one of them where they cancel each other out and it ends up being a bit of a stand-up brawl. We've seen Trevin Giles got power on his feet, knockout over James Bokovic. So yeah, I mean it's very good at the minute. Looking at that, I think, and I do feel under 2.5 at even money is really good price. So I'm actually going to take a bit of a stint on this fight, and I'm actually going to go 3 units on under 2.5 rounds. I mean, you could get, I think it was 4 to 5 for fight doesn't go to the distance, so you could have an extra 2.5 minutes for just a little bit worse odds. So it depends if you want to do that one, take a risk on that instead. But just for the even sake, I'm going to have under 2.5. You look at the finishers that they've got, a lot of them are under before the 3rd round. I mean, Trevin Giles has got a couple where he's had it in the just one. He's had one finish in the last round. Like I say, it could be. I mean, I had a bit of a weird hacker other week, and I had like a 7 accumulator with under overs on, and I had under 2.5 with Alvarez and Gaethje. Typical that it was in the last 2.5 minutes of that fight, but I wouldn't have expected it to go that far anyway. So the only one to let me down was 7 accumulator, so that was a bit annoying. But yeah, going back to it, like I said, I do feel under 2.5 for the even money stint is pretty good. So I'm going to have 3 units, and that is to win 3 units this week. Right, so let's go through a review of bets we've had this week for UFC Fight Night 1, 2, 3 in Fresno. So we'll hopefully the double parlay run continues this week. Like I said, I've had 4 units on Luke Sanders and Alex Perez. That is at 10 to 11 or minus 110, and it wins 3.6 units if it comes in. Like I said, hopefully this run continues. Been doing really well on double parlays recently. Like I said, I feel both of them will win very strong decisions. Both could easily get finishes, I think, as well. But I do fancy both of them to have a very strong 30-27 decision, and hopefully bring back 3.6 units from that. And then we move on to the straight pick we've had this week. Alejandro Perez. 1.5 units on him to win 2 units. That's at plus 162.5 or 13 to 8. Like I said, pretty good odds really. Like I said, Alcantara usually has a wild first round, swinging bombs and looking for crazy submissions. Like I said, he could definitely look to initiate takedowns and go for these crazy submissions, but I do feel Perez will fight a smart fight, keep distance, use his leg kicks, hopefully look for a strong decision again, and that will bring back 2 units if that comes in. And then, like I said, 2 prop bets we've had this week. The first one on Eric Anders and Marcus Perez fight, under 2.5 rounds at 7 to 10 or minus 142. 2.25 units, and that is to win 1.5 units. Like I said, both pretty aggressive guys, both different aspects of the game. Like I said, Perez has some good submissions, also has good stand-up, but Anders got very good power on his feet, so he'll look to get him out there, probably first round. But yeah, that's under 2.5, so hopefully that one comes in. And then, like I said, we've had another prop bet on the last bet, and that again is under 2.5 rounds between Trevin Jack and Antonio Braga Nito. Like I said, I've took a stint on this fight, 3 units, evens or plus 100 to win 3 units. Like I said, both fighters have really good finishers. Both seem to get them out early doors as well, so I do feel that even money, I just took the risk on taking a good advantage of a price. I think that's really underrated in that. So yeah, I feel pretty confident again this week. Hopefully we'll get above that plus 20 unit mark again. I want to be back up there after a pretty bad 3 weeks, few weeks back. Looking to, last week helped us out, bring it back a little bit. Like I said, back up to plus 17 units, but want to be back up into the high 20 units where we were. So yeah, trying to do some smart betting. I feel like this week again is some pretty solid picks. So yeah, have a good fight night, guys. Hopefully see you next week.